The new process for submitting self-review forms is to go to SharePoint, and you're going to pick a class that you're not necessarily teaching this semester, but one that you want to spend some time working on this semester for teaching next semester or later in the future. So go ahead and pick a class, any online or hybrid class that you teach, the one that you want to do some work on, and then you will go into SharePoint. And if you haven't been to SharePoint before, then the easiest way to get there is to go to the Augusta Tech EDU website and click on Faculty and Staff, and then come down to Faculty Staff Email. And that will take you to a login page for Office 365. And you're going to use your computer login information, username and password. So the same one that you use for your computer, that you use for SmartWeb, that you use for Blackboard, you will also use for Office 365. And once you get logged into Office 365, if this is your first time logging in, it's going to ask you to put in a recovery email or phone number. So if you ever get locked out of your account, or if you ever want to reset your password, you can do so using this recovery information that you put in right now. And so the email address that you put in as your recovery email address has to be different from your school email address. You can click cancel and not put in the recovery information, but if you do that, you won't ever be able to reset your password on your own. You'll have to call IT to do password resets. All right, so once you get beyond that step, then you'll be in your email. And so from here, you can click on the link that I've sent to get to SharePoint. And that will take you straight into the distance education classes group. If you've gone to SharePoint before, or ever gone to, not if you've gone to SharePoint, but if you've ever gone into this distance education site before, then when you go to SharePoint, it'll be on your list of frequently visited sites, and so you can just click on there. And so another way to get there, because you don't want to have to keep coming back to this link all the time, is once you get logged into your email or any Office 365 site, then you can click on the apps over here and you can go to SharePoint, and then you'll have the distance education classes on your frequently visited sites if you've ever been there before. All right, so when you get into distance education classes, these are documents just for your information. You don't do anything with these. Those are just there for reference. And over here are the three things that you can do in this site. So you won't have access to my master list, but if you want to request a new hybrid course, you want to teach a hybrid course for the first time that you haven't taught before, then you submit that form here. And when you're filling out this form, and the same applies to the new online request form, when you get to the end, it'll ask you to put in your supervisor's name. And so once you start typing, it's like mail. That person's name will pop up as long as you're typing the name as it is in their email address. And so that'll then send the approval request right to your supervisor, who will then check it as approved, and then it'll get sent right to Tammy for the final checkoff. So you don't have to print it out, put it in the mail. You just submit it here, put in the correct person to route it to next, and it'll get done all through SharePoint. All right. What we're talking about now, though, is the new self-review form. And so when you open it, the questions are below the place where you put in the information. And so that's a little bit tricky. And what happens is when you click an answer box, then the question disappears. So you need to read the question. Question number 2 says the required menu items, start here, classroom, dashboard, email, help, are visible to students. The menu is not read. The welcome announcement contains clear instructions for getting started and sets a welcoming tone. All right, so then after I've read the question, then I click up here, select true, and that question disappears. So then I move on to 3, read the question, and click up here to put in the answer. Another tricky thing about this is the person who built the form is still working on it a little bit, but right now you can't select more than one option on the multiple answer questions. And so where it asks, in which sections do you have instructor created content? And you want to click, unit 1, unit 2. It won't let you select more than one. So just pick one. And when you submit it, you're automatically going to get a score of 74. When I go back and do the departmental review, I'll change your score to what it actually should be. All right. And so once you get through them all, you just click save down here and you are finished.